cities in boom, the PR transmissions will resume. We'll try to push drugs to keep us all dumbed down and hope that they will never see the truth around. Another promise, another scene, another package lie to keep us trapped in greed. Another green bells wrapped around our minds, an endless red tape to keep the truth confined. They will not force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not control us. We will be victorious.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Postmortem Breakdown. How you doing, Joy?
I'll get to that later.
Yeah,
Tough times.
we got a lot of different topics to talk about today, as usual. So I guess we'll get started. Hello, Teresa 273, Jesco, Mister. Thank you for joining us on the stream. Our first topic, which we've kind of just decided it's mostly unofficial tradition, labor.
Yes. It's
Which,
easy
I
to
think especially in
kind
these
of,
times, it's good to start out on a positive note.
yeah. Let's not forget why we started the show. Labor's unions, protests, organizing, class war, 99%. Like that's why we started this. So we have to still stay true despite all the other pressing things that are going on. We still have to keep things like this in the headlines.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Jenna, nice to see you. Um, so, Tesla faces its first ever strike after refusing to negotiate with Swedish union. A strike has erupted at Tesla, the notoriously anti-union car manufacturer. Take that, Musk. Perhaps not surprisingly, the strike takes place in Sweden, one of the most unionized countries in the world. According to the Industrial Union Confederation, it is the first formal labor conflict against Tesla anywhere in the world. The strike was called by the Industrial Labor Union If Metall. The union's decision follows 5 years of refusal by Tesla's Swedish subsidiary TM Sweden to negotiate a collective agreement for its employees in repair shops across the country. The first strike notice was limited to union members among Tesla's own employees, about 120 mechanics and service technicians. But after a meeting between TM Sweden and If Metall summoned by the National Mediation Office this Tuesday, the company's representatives withdrew from further negotiations, citing corporate policy not to sign collective agreements in any country. In response to this, If Metall immediately expanded its strike notice to all repair jobs that service Tesla vehicles in Sweden, not only Tesla's own shops. An additional 470 workers in 16 cities will be affected in this next phase of the strike, starting on November 3rd. From that date, no union members in the targeted shops will be allowed to do any work on Tesla vehicles, including service, repairs, or preparing new cars for shipping to the thousands of customers who are waiting for their brand new Teslas. And more can be in store for Elon Musk's company unless it heeds union demands. When employers refuse to engage in collective bargaining, Swedish unions can resort to strikes and other forms of industrial action. Some of the options available to unions are bans on new hires or overturn work, and even solidarity strikes by other unions. An interesting precedent that offers a hint. Okay, yeah, so we'll go into that. But yeah, that is great.
But what do we do? Because Biden keeps saying, like, if we care about the environment, we should just buy a Tesla. So, I mean, where does that leave us?
I guess we can't buy, a $60,000 Tesla because they're on strike.
But I saved an entire month of income to buy that.
Oh, wow. And you probably bought less avocado toast too. And
I totally did.
yeah, you made your own coffee. Well, you're just going to have
don't
to.
go that crazy. Definitely not. I did cut back my maid to 4 times a week instead of 7. So it's been rough.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So great to see. I mean, it just shows too how the labor laws in Sweden are much more on the workers' side. I mean, solidarity strikes are not even legal here, I believe. And so hopefully one day, but great to see that in the mass of the fact that the UAW has won tentative contracts, that Tesla is starting to feel the heat, and we'll see what happens here in the United States. If this is a ripple effect, because I know that there has been some threats regarding strikes for Tesla. Unionization. So yeah. Speaking of Biden, though, because he's been doing so well, David Axelrod doesn't
Who
seem to
I
really
actually
have the
talked
same
about.
sort of, huh?
I actually talked about Axelrod in my shitlib parody book. That's how little I like the dude. He is a total twat waffle. And I saw this headline and I was like, fuck, I actually agree with this douche on something. What the fuck is happening?
But you have to wonder, when someone like him starts to say it, it really means because they're seeing that there's something wrong, and probably even you do have to wonder if Biden's donors are starting to even say like, I don't know if we can continue supporting him because he's not doing too well, right? So,
well, Kamala really also did a recent interview that kind of it was kind of alluding to that. It was really interesting. It's on my Twitter if you guys want to check it out. Very interesting. But in any case.
Yeah. All right, let's shut down all these ads. Former President Obama's senior advisor, David Axelrod, on Sunday suggested President Biden drop out of the 2024 presidential race in the wake of the new poll showing the incumbent trailing former President Trump. Pointing to a New York Times and Siena College poll published Sunday, Axelrod wrote on X, platform formerly known as Twitter, "It's very late to change horses. A lot will happen in the next year that no one can predict, and Biden's team says his resolve to run is firm." Arguing Biden is justly proud of his accomplishments, Axelrod said Biden's poll numbers will send tremors of doubt throughout the Democratic Party. Not bedwetting, but legitimate Okay, seriously? Did he really just use that analogy? All right. Trump is a dangerous...
You don't need Depends like he wears because he always shits himself. You don't need that. But it's still concerning.
Put on your diapers, Biden. Put on... It's going to be a shit show. Trump is a dangerous, unhinged demagogue whose brazen disdain for the rules, laws, and institutions of democracy should be disqualifying. But the stakes of miscalculation here are too dramatic to ignore. Only Biden can make this decision. He continues to run to be the nominee of the party. What he needs to decide is whether that is wise, whether it's in his best interest or the country's. And then this goes on to say that in a lot of these swing states, close states, Biden is not doing too well. So, yeah.
I mean, I think I'm pretty sure. I mean, put it in the comments if you disagree, but I know every time I post this on Twitter, it gets hundreds of likes and shares. He's going to lose to Trump. Let's just be very clear. If Trump is a nominee, he's losing. Biden cannot beat Trump. People are like, oh, but Trump's being indicted. I don't fucking care. He cannot beat Trump.
Well, and the people who vote for him don't care either.
That's the
Like,
thing. Like, it only emboldens them. Like, it's an attack on Trump. Anytime something happens to them, which just emboldens them, and they're like even, more furious to get him elected. So, number one, no, he cannot be Trump. But also, and that I said that many of us said that before all this Palestine shit. Now you're talking, oh my God, millions of people will never vote for him. Even people who said they were gonna, do it just because they didn't want Trump. Now they're not voting for him. They're not. So, but let's seriously think about this critically. Do we really think Biden's going to acknowledge the fact that he is mentally incapable to continue? Do we really think he is going to say, you know what? My poll numbers suck. I'm going to step down. Not a fucking chance in hell. He could die. That's the only way he's gonna not run for president. Literally the only way. He's already announced it. What do you think, Andrew? Do you think there's any chance if, his buddy Barack or someone says to him, hey, Joe, you should put so-and-so in instead? Do you think he'd actually be convinced?
I don't know. It's tough because I feel like he is such a puppet that if everyone were to turn against him, he would like maybe we get a deal cut and just be like, all right, whatever. So I don't know. It's possible. And it does make me wonder the fact that, Gavin Newsom is getting so much attention that, you could see subtle work being done. They're trying to bring people. So I don't know. It could go either way. It's one of those things where
it's interesting you bring up Newsom because in this article, in this thread, he was in every fucking comment.
Yeah.
And he's been floated since 2020. He's garbage. Is he better than Biden? Low bar.
Well, but let's even go in terms of the amount of labor legislation that he has vetoed lately. He is very much even gone further, like pro ruling. We don't want to use right and left terms. He's been very pro corporate, especially
and
these last
pro-ICE.
couple months, right? And so that does make you wonder if, and of course this is all speculation, there's no proof, but like you do have to kind of wonder, like, did someone say something to him where it's like, hey, if you want to have a chance to run for president and it may be your opportunity, you're going to have to like not be as progressive on these issues, right? Because I don't have the specifics in front of me, but there have been some bills that are very like pro-worker bills that have been passed through the legislature, like no question, right? It wasn't even close. Some had like a lot, like close to, I think, unanimous support, and he's just like, nope. Or I don't know if that because this, they could then override his veto. So I'm not sure about that actually, but yeah.
Oh, you mean recently?
Huh?
Recently?
Yeah, very recently.
I know. Yeah. I heard about one, but I didn't realize there had been multiple. Interesting.
Yeah, there's been a few, I believe. Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know.
I wonder if, and this is purely conjecture, and I wonder if Biden would be like down if they're like, we're going to run Newsom, but we'll take you as VP. Can you be VP for more than 8 years?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, so that rules that out. But
yeah,
I think Newsom may be able to beat Trump. I think maybe.
Possible.
I think he has way more chance than Biden.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, fucking AOC went campaigning for fucking Newsom. Like, some people really swear he's progressive because he's from California. That automatically makes him progressive.
And it's funny because he like there was a recall election for him a couple of years ago.
And that's why the fucking squad went all the way to California, and they're like, Newsom.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what continues to happen. I think, and we'll talk about this very soon, right? The fact that, Arab Americans, his support amongst them, that population has gone down tremendously, is a huge, and I think we talked about this last time on the show. Michigan has the biggest Arab population in the U.S., and it's a swing state.
Yep.
And it's a trifecta. I mean, it's blue.
Absolutely.
And so it's blue through the legislator, governor, Senate, right? So, yeah.
And this is like less than a month into this genocide. I mean, it's been 75 years, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Less than a month in. And you already have millions of people saying there's no fucking way I will vote for Biden. I will never have that blood on my hands. So how do you think it's going to be a year from now when even more Palestinians are dead and slaughtered and are like PED and everything like that? You think he's going to win votes?
Right.
He's losing them by the minute. So at least Newsom doesn't have that baggage per se attached to his name. I mean, he sucks, but I don't think the Dems realized just how much we were going to stand up and fight back against this. I'm surprised. Even as an activist and organizer, the amount of millions of people in the streets.
Yeah. No, I mean the narrative has 100% changed, and I'll just go ahead and bring this up now, since I think it flows into what we're talking about, because I think since the narrative, because it's clear that people aren't being suckered into what they want for the narrative to be, right? Or what the corporate media wants the narrative to be. It's now CNN is literally almost seems like they're just asking permission to Israel in terms of what they can cover and what they cannot. So we'll just pull this up. So this guy is editor, Globally News, contributor, Foreign Policy, National Interest, World Politics Review. So CNN's Fareed Zakaria on journalists who have been embedded with the IDF in Gaza. As a condition to enter Gaza under IDF air support, outlets have to submit all materials and footage to the Israeli military for review prior to publication. CNN has agreed to those terms. And we'll just play this video here.
Yesterday, CNN's Jeremy Diamond went into Gaza on an IDF embed. I should note that journalists embedded with the IDF in Gaza operate under the observation of Israeli commanders in the field and are not permitted to move unaccompanied within the Gaza Strip. As a condition to enter Gaza under IDF escort, outlets have to submit all materials and footage to the Israeli military for review prior to publication. CNN has agreed to these terms in order to provide a limited window into Israel's operations in Gaza. Jeremy joins me now. Yesterday, CNN...
The fact that CNN is talking about this, like, what?
Yeah, they're like admitting it.
Bananas.
It's always funny when they every once in a while just like admit it to everybody. Like things that people kind of speculate, and there's like they're pretty short, right? And they're just like, yeah.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, they're coming clean before they're found out. But I mean, let's break that down. You're there. I'm just gonna say journalist, as we all, CNN and stuff, but I'll say journalist just to break it down. So you're there as journalists, not just CNN, but literally anyone for any, TV, magazine, newspaper. You are there as a journalist, and you must submit all footage and documentation and everything to Israel for approval before you can post it. Meaning there is no live coverage in Gaza. It's impossible. If you have to do that, it's impossible. There can be no live coverage. And how is that not incredibly fascist? That's the epitome of fascism.
Yes.
I won't let you document like what's going on without my approval first. That is so beyond fucked up. Like, they're showing what is happening right now. So if you don't want that getting out, stop fucking doing it. How about that?
And it's especially chilling to the fact where we've also heard recently about various journalists who have been killed, right?
Yep.
In Israel. So tie the fact of that with them literally saying you have to run through what you're going to say through us before publishing.
Exactly. And that was my other question. What happens if you don't?
Right. We already know they kill journalists. Is that
yeah, black and brown ones.
Yeah. So not good.
Same.
And so Bernice King, so Amy Schumer has been.
Well, I can break this down. So
break it down, yeah.
Amy Schumer's been trending a lot lately because she's garbage. And just to remind everyone, she is the niece of Cuck Schumer. Literally, I'm not even kidding you.
I thought she was the daughter of his for the longest time.
No, the niece, but she could be. I mean, she may as well be.
Sure.
And she's been making like some seriously pro-Israel, like, shame on people supporting Palestine, like full-on Zionist, like racist shit. And of course, turns the comments off of all of them. You can't comment, XYZ. Well, because people were talking about how, she's racist and, things like that, she posted a video of Martin Luther King. And the video had nothing to do with Palestine or Israel. It was literally a video of Martin Luther King Jr. speaking truth to power. And she turned off the comments. And essentially, it was using him to say, I'm doing the same thing MLK Jr. would have done. And it was just like the worst kind of, like, you just made it worse. You literally just made it so much worse. So the Root talked about, Bernice King, MLK Jr.'s daughter, was like, so they interviewed her about it. And she tweeted about it several times, and obviously she ain't having it.
Yeah. Good. And so, yeah, and here it says, certainly my father was against anti-Semitism, as am I. He also believed militarism, along with racism and poverty, to be among the interconnected triple evils. I am certain he would call for Israel's bombing of Palestinians, to seize for hostages to be released, and for us to work for true peace, which includes justice. He said, justice at its best is love, correcting everything that stands against love. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people even forget about MLK, right? He actually died with poll numbers that were, I think he had like a 30-something% approval rating because of his activism against the Vietnam War, right?
Yes.
And so this just, I think, goes with the whole, it's continuous whitewashing of what MLK Jr. stood for. And the media is to blame for that as well, because they only talk about what is convenient, what makes corporations popular, right? It's not, at this point, it's not a threat to say, yeah, people of all races should be able to share a water fountain together. But when you're talking about multiracial working class rising up in solidarity against the corporations, where you're talking about, all of those things, that is a threat to corporations. And so they're only going to talk about the things where it's like, okay, now it's like, yeah, this is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just I can't even fathom the audacity one must have to take a clip of a revolutionary and be that kind of an opportunist that you would compare it to like your fucking racism and pro-war Zionism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how tone deaf could you possibly be? White privilege, multimillionaire. How pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad Bernice King found out about it, because we were all just like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Like, you know how sometimes people post cringe posts and then they make it worse? Like, so worse. Like, just delete it and don't address it. She made it exponentially worse. She made it the worstest that the worst could worstly be. Yes, I was an English major. Thank you. Literally.
Oh man. Yeah. So I guess we'll go from Bernice to Bernie. So it is actually it is amazing to me that there's what I think 16 people in Congress that are calling for a ceasefire, and there may be more now. And there's one person in the Senate who's called for a ceasefire, Dick Durbin of all people.
But some of them are asking for a pause.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is it is semantics for hurry up, throw some food and water at them in the face, and then leave and get to bombing again. Ceasefire is the minimum, man. That is the bare minimum. Ceasefire does not have an expiration. Ceasefire, period.
Yeah.
So this, now come on, folks. This, I'm not shocked anymore by him, but like, I'm not disappointed by him because I've lost all faith in him. But AIPAC, okay, AIPAC, who has ripped Bernie a new asshole for decades for turning them down for their dinners and endorsements and donations. AIPAC has hated Bernie since day one, especially 2016 and thereon. They are using Bernie's interview to say they agree. AIPAC agrees with Bernie. They're promoting Bernie. That is like, could there be a worse answer that he could have given? It's not possible. Like, just truly astounding. Seeing all the things he said about AIPAC in the history of his political career, and now they're giving him props.
Yeah. I was very surprised to see that.
I wasn't, unfortunately. I really wasn't. And it breaks my heart. But
yeah, no, it is sad. But I think when we do see lack of solidarity when it comes to more, I guess, between people and politicians, and when there's a disconnect between people and politicians, it always is inspiring to see solidarity amongst the people, right? So figured I could show this rally in New Zealand.
yeah, all the rallies around the world are just, oh my God, absolutely just amazing. So beautiful and inspiring. It's so amazing to see like so many indigenous people and other people of color coming forward to support Palestine, because who knows more what Palestine's going through than indigenous people, really.
Yeah. Which I guess, going off of that, do you want to share a little bit about some of what you saw through a chat or experienced?
Well, I think, don't we have more coverage of let me think. Is that all you had as far as our stories?
Yeah, those are the stories. I could talk about, Target. I could go back to talking about Target to like wrap it up.
I wanted to show that video I put in there that they highlighted me in.
Yes. Okay, cool. We'll do that. Veterans for Peace. That's right. Here we go. Not Tulsi Gabbard, by the way. She is not included as a veteran for peace.
No. Wishes.
Oh, man. All right. So, Veterans for Peace, War Crimes Tribunal, November 12th. Register merchantsofdeath.org. So, yeah, Joy, you want to say a little bit more of this, or should I play the video?
So last week I had some great shows. If you haven't seen them, please watch. I had two people from Merchants of Death, Brad and Nick. Nick is an activist and organizer of over 50 years. He is soon to be 85 years old and still marches in the streets. You heard me. Soon to be 80 fucking 5 years old. He is radical. He is fucking awesome. He was in the Vietnam War. Thankfully, he never went to combat, but immediately it turned him off to war. Just hearing the sounds and hearing the stories and knowing people and just the surroundings made him anti-war, and he immediately became an anti-war activist. And Brad is a lawyer. He started out as a lawyer trying to help people. Then he became a professor. They're both with Merchants of Death. So Friday, they will be doing Sunday. They'll be doing an awesome online event. They have actually asked me to partner with them. So I will now be streaming their forums and their events and everything like that on my channel. So I'm super honored that they would ask me. They have a Shamu Baraka, Code Pink, Matthew Ho, some incredible people on their board. So I think it's amazing that I was asked to partner with them. I'm super glad. And yeah, Veterans of Peace made this video about the interview from last week.
Coming up with the idea of holding a people's tribunal to hold accountable U.S. weapons manufacturers for aiding and abetting the United States government in committing crimes against humanity and war crimes. And the idea for the tribunal is for us to present evidence to jurors from across the globe who will deliberate on this evidence and decide whether U.S. weapons manufacturers are guilty of knowingly producing weapons that kill civilians. Grassroots justice. This is what happens when the courts have been captured by the criminals, when a government is non-responsive. The people form a tribunal of their own and present the evidence and demand action based on what they presented. We'll be showing how these weapons manufacturers lobby and influence members of Congress, how they influence and have hijacked the United States foreign policy, how they create needless war for profit. The opening session is November 12th. It's coming up in less than 2 weeks. It's a Sunday evening. It will be live streamed. It is free. And if people go to merchantsofdeath.org, that's merchantsofdeath.org, you can register there and you're good to go.
Yeah, so definitely check it out, register. They do incredible work. And like I said, I'm partnering with them now. So I'll be sharing and promoting their videos on my channel. And they're also doing a big action this Wednesday. So I'm excited because I like working with fellow activists and organizations like that. So definitely check that out. Also, last week I interviewed 2 activists, organizers from Jewish Voice for Peace, Boston. They are Jewish. Oh, thank you, Andrew, for introducing me to Ellie. Both of them are in Mass, and we had a really in-depth, awesome conversation about what it's like to be Jewish and stand with Palestine. Some of the reactions people give you, how would they like people to portray, or my mind's not even working. How would they like people to respond? Things like that. We talked about everything, and it was a lot of questions I've seen people ask online, and I was very educated by it. It was very in depth, and definitely check out that interview as well. Both of them are from last week. So yeah. Earlier tonight at 8 p.m., I did a call-in. I have a comrade named Millennial Splaining. You guys may know her if you're on Twitter. And she asked me to do a call-in with her, to host it with her, and she's asked me several times. And tonight I was like, okay, I can do it for like a half hour before my show. And it was going to be on Gaza, of course. And I said yes, and we get there. And the first person who spoke was a gentleman named Khalil, and he is in Gaza. And if you can, please listen to those phases. She's recording it. She recorded it. You know, I've been marching in the streets and stuff in multiple cities and covering it and everything, and watching videos, reading articles, but nothing prepared me for being on the call with him and hearing bombs going off in the background. In the 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, we were connected on the phone. 5 bombs went off. And if that's not bad enough, I think the worst part was that he didn't cry. He wasn't scared. He just accepted it as reality. And I think just hearing those sounds, just hearing the explosions, and just, you know, you would think you'd be like screaming like, oh my God. And he just was saying things like, look, I know that could be for me. I know that, you know, I've lost people in my family. I've lost friends. And he asked certain things. Don't just refer to them as numbers. He said, when I die, I don't want to be known as 200 people died today in Gaza. I want people to talk about my dreams and who I was as a person. And he's talking like he's already gone because he knows what is in store for him. I will never forget that call. And he DM'd me right after it and said, thank you so much for showing your genuine emotion. Because I was pretty much inconsolable. And you can't fucking prepare yourself. I've done over 800 interviews. I have never interviewed someone while bombs are going off in the fucking background. I strongly suggest everyone watch it. It is scary. It is terrifying. It is upsetting. But at the same time, I don't think I truly, truly understood until I heard that tonight. Now it has become real on a totally different level. So just think about that. Think about how these are people. These are individuals. They all have names. They all have faces. They all have hopes. They all have dreams. He's 27 years old. It is our obligation to stand up for these people. They know they have a death sentence right now. They know they have no hope. And all we can do is demand a stop to this genocide. And also share information, because these history books are going to try and fucking whitewash this shit in the future. They're going to say, oh, you know, Hamas was like 1 million people and they killed all these Israelis and this is what happened. No, we need to share this with our family and our friends so they know the fucking truth. This, we cannot let people whitewash this in the future, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Speak up, get in the streets, and demand that all of this stop. We cannot let genocide happen, and we cannot let it be because of us. Because right now, the United fucking States is one of the main reasons this is fucking happening. It is our obligation and responsibility to stand up and say, not in our name. No fucking way. So if you're on my Twitter, check it out. I will post it. And it's fucking rough, but listen to it, because everyone needs to. Period. Everyone needs to. It's unfiltered. It was live, and it's raw. This is what they're dealing with 24/7. So surely we can listen to it for 20 minutes. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure I'll go live at least once or twice more this week. Thank you so much. Go to Merchants of Death, sign up for Sunday. And yeah, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Smash the like button, smash subscribe, smash share, and do what you can to help the Palestinian people. Solidarity and much love as always.